I guess action. Hey y'all, so I thought I'd sit down with you guys and do a very informal, impromptu, quick video. I did an Instagram live earlier today, and a lot of people were asking me about life advice, I guess, for someone entering their early 20s, someone who's just graduated, is feeling a little lost, and maybe I could give some advice. Obviously, it goes without saying, I'm not a life coach or like a financial advisor, but alhamdulillah, I am blessed with so many incredible mentors in my career and in my life and in finance that have taught me a lot. So I thought I'd share that information with y'all. So it's just a very general piece of information that you can take what you can and implement it in your life. It's meant to give you a bit of support and help you out when you're entering your early 20s and you might be a little confused and you don't know where to start. Plus, it's information I wish I was taught in high school or after graduation. It's information that they don't necessarily teach in formalized education, and I wish they did, really. But alhamdulillah, it's okay. So I made a quick list after my live. I answered a lot of y'all's questions, but afterwards I made a quick list. It is a rough list, but it's a lot of good information that I think might help y'all. So without further ado, let's begin. All right, let's go. Now, just to preface the story a little bit, I guess, ever since I was in high school, from like 14 or 15, I love talking to people, especially people that are older than me, people that have accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. And I volunteered in hospice care, which is terminally ill care patients that have a short-term time to live. So I sat down with them, and I had two patients that I really connected with and I learned a lot from. And I asked them about their life, things that they would change, things that they would go back in time. And a lot of the answers were pretty much the same. And that brings me to my first piece of advice, is not caring what people think. Genuinely, that's the number one thing they said. They spent their entire life being concerned about, what does this person think of me? What does that person think of me? How are my actions gonna affect the way they perceive me? And honestly, it doesn't matter. I don't know how else to say it. It really doesn't matter. The way I see it is no one else is living your life but you. No one else is in control of your life but you. You can spend 10, 20, 30 years, I don't know, getting a formal education, buying this certain house, dressing this certain way, just to please other people around you. But at the end of the day, are they living your life? No, it's literally you. So I guess my first piece of advice is live your life the way you want it without worrying about the perception of others or how others are going to see you, because they're not living your life. And honestly, it was incredible hearing from my two patients. They passed now, but it was incredible hearing from them when I was younger. And that was the same advice they gave. Obviously they used very colorful language when they said it, but they said, don't care what people think. And alhamdulillah, I think it took me a few years, but I'm finally at that point where the only opinion that matters is me and the people that I genuinely love, like my family. Everyone else's opinion, if it doesn't help me, if it doesn't serve me any kind of benefit, it doesn't matter to me. So that's one of the tips. Another one is be open-minded. Don't think just because you accomplish this education level, just because you have this job, that's it. You've learned everything there is to know about life. No. I think you stop living life when you stop learning. Stop learning from people. Stop reading books. Stop researching. And alhamdulillah, I've learned a lot, but I have so much farther to go. I've just touched the base. So I think my best advice is don't be a know-it-all. If you can always learn something from someone else, no matter their age, no matter their background, you can always learn something new from someone else. So yeah, I literally wrote, I wrote, be open-minded, don't be a know-it-all. If you think you've learned everything, no, you haven't. There's still a long ways to go. We're constantly evolving, and we can always learn more from everyone. That was my other tip. And it's true. When you're a closed-off bubble, that's the only person you're hurting is yourself, really. And never think you're above or better than anyone else. You can always learn from someone else, even someone who's younger than you. So that's my piece of advice. Be open-minded in your early 20s, and that's how you're going to grow financially, intellectually, in every aspect of your life. Just be open-minded to learning and meeting new people. Yep. Well, that brings me to my second point. Talk to people. regardless of age, but especially older people. They've been in this world longer. They have seen things that we have not seen and experienced just yet. Learn from them, sit down from them, and understand their mistakes and be better. Learning from people that are older than us is the best piece of advice. Alhamdulillah, I'm so blessed to have an amazing mother who is so wise and teaches me so many things. But if you don't have that, go out and find a mentor. Go out and find someone who's older than you that you believe you can learn something from. And trust me, you'll be 10 times wiser for it. Now, it goes without saying that it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable and they're absolutely amazing. I hate that when we're younger, especially in school, we're taught that you need to make a certain grade. You're not allowed to make these mistakes on these tests. Mistakes are the enemy. I feel like we're generated to understand that mistakes are the enemy, and unfortunately they're not. Because when you get older, you'll notice that you want to make mistakes, because mistakes are going to help you grow. You're never going to grow and learn by doing every single thing right. You're going to be a machine. You're going to be like a robot. But if you're constantly making mistakes and constantly analyzing those mistakes to see how you can improve and be better, you'll be 10 times more wiser for it. So I think that's another tip that I have for people in their early 20s, is make mistakes, be open to mistakes, and learn something from them. Don't just go around like blindly making mistakes. That's bad. That's really bad. But like, make mistakes, analyze them, and see how you can be better or find a better approach to it next time. And with that information, go ahead and teach it to somebody else. Like, pass the baton on, you know, like a relay race. So yeah. Okay, I love this one. I can't stress this enough. I talk about this on my Instagram lives all the time, my TikTok lives, but books are your best friend. Books are your best friend. These are just two that I have next to me. Books are your best friend. Oh my goodness. If you're not in a position where you can't learn from people around you, you can learn from literature. You can learn from authors that spent years writing, drafting, editing, speaking to different people. You can learn so much just by turning a page. My mother used to always say, when she was younger, she loved reading Freud. She really loved reading Freud. And this is a different story. My grandma would give her money to like go buy cookies in the bakery or whatever. My mom would go buy pages from Freud and she would read them. So I thought that was really cute. But she used to always say that books can take you all around the world into new journeys, meeting new people and new languages and new worlds without even leaving your seat. And I love that. Genuinely, books teach you so much. They guide you. And for me personally, if I'm ever feeling lost, obviously I turn to faith first, and then second, I turn to history. I turn to books and history because people have already lived the same situations we have, just different time zones. So yeah, I turn to books. Books are helpful. That's another tip for my people in my early 20s. Read as much as you can, consume as much literature as you can. Trust me, it'll be amazing for you in the future. Yeah. And don't feel like you have to start reading what everyone else is reading. Like, for example, if you hate finance books, I used to hate finance books, and now it's my favorite category. Like, it's my favorite genre of books, personal finances for me. But start with what you're passionate about. Like, I have friends that love reading fiction. They will only read fiction and they will not read anything else. That is perfectly fine. Start with what you love and kind of continue with that. Yep. All right, sorry, my battery was dying, so I had to adjust it. All right, so I guess my next piece of advice for people entering the early 20s is invest now. Oh my goodness, invest now. Invest in your future. Not just investing in like literature and being wiser for it, but monetary, like money, finances. Save for your retirement now, so that way you can have that peace of mind when you're in your 50s, 60s, and you're nearing retirement. I've heard so many stories from people that are like 20, 30 years older than me, always panicking and stressing out because they didn't prioritize their retirement, and now they're at a point where they're like, what am I going to do for retirement? It's approaching and I can't retire. I have to continue working that 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. Unfortunately, we all have this mentality that we're going to make it big and we're going to like blow up financially and be good to go when we're older. And that could be a possibility, and that could be amazing, you know? But you also have to have a backup plan. You also have to save up for that 401k. No one wants to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their life. Of course, there are people, mashallah alayhum, like they get out of the 9 to 5 rat race and they're set. But other people are not as lucky. So if I were you, I would set aside a savings account with my 401k. Or what you can do is stock market. You can literally invest in dividends. Those are 2 different options. So I hope this helps. But those are a few things you can do. But thinking about your future finances is super important to do in your early 20s, regardless of what you decide to do. Start getting an idea of what you want to do now. Like, no one's telling you to start putting it away now, but start getting an idea. All right, this is the ones I asked my sister, my older sister. I asked her, hey, if you were in your early 20s, just entered your 20s, what would you want to know? And she said, it's okay to take a break. So many people feel the pressure of graduating on time in that 4 years, having children, getting married, and immediately entering the workforce. I can't speak. She said that it's good for people to understand that it's okay to take a break. One thing I hate that they don't teach us when we're younger is we're all on our different time lengths. We're all on our different time schedules, okay? One person's life is not the same as another person's life. If someone graduates at this time, gets a job at this time, gets married, has kids at this time, that does not mean it's the same for you. That does not mean this timeline is the same for you. We're all on our different paces, and that's perfectly fine. We can't generalize one bubble for everyone, and I hate that people generalize this one bubble for people. So it's okay to take a break, whether it's from your career, your school, your job, and think about what you want to do long term. That brings me to my next point. If you want to change your career, if you want to change your major, do it now. Trust me, do it now. I don't want to put any pressure on you, but doing it 10, 30 years from now, it's possible, but it's 10 times harder, and you have to worry about 10 more things. Whether it's your bills, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's kids, finances, health, everything becomes harder down the road. So if you want to make a drastic change, try to make it now rather than later on. It's not to say that you can't do it. Obviously, you can do it. You're on your own schedule. But if you're not financially free as you want it to be, and you want to make that huge career change or life change later on down the road, it'll be more difficult. I feel like this video is getting more stressful. I don't want it to be stressful, but this is just advice that I honestly wanted to hear entering my 20s. And a lot of people I know gave me this advice and said, hey, I wish I knew this too. Last but not least, oh my goodness, I already talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to talk about it again. Do what makes you happy. Oh my goodness, it doesn't matter what people think. It genuinely doesn't matter what people think. If you like sitting in front of a camera and making YouTube videos at 2 a.m, do it. Do it. If you like trading in the stock market but also love your 9 to 5 job and don't imagine yourself ever quitting, do that. If you want to travel the entire world and backpack through Asia and set aside like having kids, do that. That's all right. Like I said, no one is in control of your life except you. No one has to live your life except you. So why settle for a miserable life just to impress somebody else if you're not even happy? That's my best advice. Do what makes you happy. This world is way too short. This life is way too short to be living someone else's life. And if you're not happy with yourself, what's the point? Like, I don't know, what's the point? But yeah, that was the video. I know it was very, very quick. I tried to make it under 10 minutes, and I hope when I edit, I hope future when you edit, it's under 10 minutes. But this is the questions I got during the Instagram live, and I made quick notes. If you guys want to hear more, please let me know. Again, this is advice that I got from my family, my mentors that are older than me, people that I knew in hospice care, and I hope it helps y'all. And yeah, enjoy your 20s. Don't worry too much, but also set the foundation for a really healthy life. And yeah, all right, I'll catch y'all the next one. That was awkward. Yeah, bye.